Hey! Hi, come in.
Nice to see you.
We are so happy you're here.
I recently watched one of the strangest films of the year. A few months ago, I was sat in the cinema during the trailers. There were a lot of films which I had already heard of from big franchises with big names and huge budgets. I saw that this summer was going to be one full of blockbusters with The Odyssey, Spider-Man, and even a new Minions movie releasing this month. That's certainly not a bad thing, but it was getting to the point where I just knew what every trailer was going to be before it even started. Then I saw the trailer for The Invite. Watching this trailer, I was trying to decipher what this movie was actually about. Considering how little it gives away, it could be about a number of things. So as soon as I left the cinema that day, I decided to check the reviews. It had just premiered at Sundance at the time, and people seemed to really like it. Here I am after finally watching it and having found it really good. The Invite is the newest film from director Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde made the switch from acting to directing 7 years ago with Booksmart, and people really seemed to like that. But 3 years later, she created Don't Worry Darling, and I personally haven't watched it, but the ratings are very mixed. From what I've heard, it's a bit of a mess, and there's a plot twist which people really just aren't a fan of. It was very heavily influenced by events happening in her personal life with her divorce from Jason Sudeikis, which ultimately turned the film into the mess that it is. With this being my first impression of Olivia Wilde as a filmmaker with The Invite, I can confidently say she has the ability to make some great films. And in terms of comeback stories, this has been a great one for her. And considering this film is made by A24 as well, it's a bit of a comeback story for A24 considering they've been facing all the backlash for their deal with Google AI. But we all already knew that A24 had the ability to produce great films, so this doesn't change much in terms of that. As I said in terms of the trailer, it doesn't really give much away, and I basically went into this film blind. It could have been about so many different things, and so many times during the film I found myself thinking, so that's what this film is about, just for it to change like 5 minutes later. The basic plot of this film is that a depressed couple, played by Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen, invite the people upstairs in their apartment for a dinner party. The people in the upstairs apartment are much more happy than them. The wife is trying to impress the people and is stressing about that, while the husband, Seth Rogen, does not really care. They eventually find out something about the other couple which completely changes the course of the film, and it all just kind of goes mental from there. Something I found really interesting about this film is its structure. And the reason for that is because the first half of the film is just so chaotic, whilst the second half of the film is more calm and more serious and tackles very serious topics. But the first half of the film is basically Angela, who's hosting the dinner party and has invited these people. She's just stressing about getting everything right to impress these people, whilst Joe, obviously, as I said earlier, is much more relaxed. And something which really helped create this chaotic and claustrophobic vibe was the production. One thing you'll definitely note whilst watching the movie is that the score is really cool. The main instrument used in the score is a cello, which you obviously don't see really often, but it worked really well to create the anxious environment. Another notable element of the production was the color scheme. Joe and Angela's apartment is full of really bland colors. The apartment, which is where basically all of the film takes place, reflects how miserable their life is. People often associate the color blue with sadness. Well, this film is filled with all sorts of blues. And finally, I felt like I had to talk about the camera work. There's times where the camera just is right in front of Olivia Wilde and it's just following her as she's just pacing up and down the kitchen trying to fix everything. It feels like you're in there with them, just wondering what the hell is going on over there. Another thing about this film which makes it quite unique is it only has 4 characters throughout the entire film. It's a 1 hour 40-minute movie and you don't see anyone other than these 4 characters. In order to make a movie with 4 characters interesting, you need these characters to be really good, and I think they did really well. These characters weren't given much of a backstory, you didn't know much about them. But it's like each character served as a placeholder for a different type of person in a relationship. And I found Seth Rogen's character to be the most interesting of the 4 because he just seems like a number of different personalities all squeezed into one person. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's really helped by how well Rogen pulls it off. And in terms of performances, I think every single one of these is incredible. All 4 of these guys are already big names in acting. All of these actors in this movie are veterans. They're just showing that they've still got it. It's basically the opposite of Obsession. Obsession was a small film with an unknown cast. This was also a small film, but it had a huge cast. All 4 of these guys deliver insane performances. I think Olivia Wilde was best, but it's also cool to see Seth Rogen just pull out performance of a lifetime out of nowhere, considering you only see him in like stoner comedies. Ed Norton's character is less out there as the others, but every time the spotlight is on him, he delivers so well. And Penelope Cruz, she was just amazing. So yeah, in terms of characters and acting performances, I think everyone delivered. And as I said, Olivia Wilde had the greatest performance. That's even more impressive considering she directed the entire film. As for the actual substance of the film, it's hard to talk about it without actually spoiling, because the entire plot of the film is just something you would never think of having only seen the trailer. The main theme of the movie is relationships and problems in relationships. And there's also, towards the end, there's a theme of failure. Both of them, especially the relationships one, they're just explored really well. Because you've got, obviously, the depressed couple, Joe and Angela, and the more happy couple, Hawk and Pina. Throughout the night, there's just so many things going on, and there's so many shifts in mood. On a lighter note about this movie, it's really funny. And obviously, having someone like Seth Rogen in here, that was always going to happen. I found myself just laughing my ass off. I had a fully packed theatre, and everyone was laughing for the entire middle bit. And then towards the end, when it got more serious, it was just complete silence. The contrast was insane. When I watched the trailer, I thought this could either go really well or fall flat. And I'm really glad to say that it went better than I ever anticipated. I've seen a lot of people draw parallels to The Drama, the movie with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, which released earlier this year. I see it because they're both anxiety-inducing films about not romance, but relationship drama. Not exactly the same thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
When I was 15, I was like really fucked up back then, and I planned to.
Yeah, I think this film is ever so slightly better than The Drama because it incorporates both the absurd and the serious, and it does it really well. This film also came at a time just before a bunch of huge films were releasing. Obviously, I said The Odyssey, Minions, Spider-Man releasing also in July, and it came at the height of Obsession success. It's an interesting comeback story from Olivia Wilde and a way of the veteran actors showing they've still got it. So that's what I thought of The Invite. If you haven't already, you should check it out. Like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next.